Alright guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel, the Regal Gentleman Studio. Today we've got TK in the chair. How are you, mate?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Cool, man. So, what is the plan today? What are we doing?
I want to keep most of the length on the top because it's from a buzz cut. So it's
Okay.
4 months.
4 months. What was it down to on the top? Or all over?
It was all over, just a 0 straight.
0? Wow. Okay.
So it's full bold.
Wow.
It's starting to grow, but I've noticed when it grows, you see it's thick on the top, but when it comes down to here, it's more, it's like fluffy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But when we do cut it, I want to sort of keep as much length as I can here. And sort of maybe just have it like squared off.
Yeah.
Lower at the bottom. I'm not a fan of skin face. I don't want skin.
Okay.
But if it goes down to short, whatever you think, I'm giving you range.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, does it have to be clippers?
No, it could be
No.
scissors.
I think if you worry, if you've got little bits that the texture just changing when it gets a little bit fluffier, I'd probably just do scissors with that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go straight in with a clipper because again, you're just going into the unknown. I could do a 3 and it could look like a 1.
Yeah.
So I'd rather I always try and do prevention over cure, mate. And I just think if it works well by doing this. So essentially, this is grown out from a clipper cut, right? From a bald 0 all over, right? So essentially, we need to change. Like you said, you want a squarer shape in there, right? You want it to sit more like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So all we need to do is take the back and sides down, so it's a shorter length. I would always go maybe half, maybe even more of what the top is here, and then just taper everything else in, just have a cleaner finish around the edges, just to make it look like it's like top heavy haircut more than a grown out clipper cut. Yeah. All right, man, that's cool. And again, skin fade. When you say you don't like skin fade, I'm thinking, do you not want anything scalp exposure? You don't want to see any of the scalp, or do you not mind?
It might be fair because I was growing my hair out for 2 years before I did the buzz cut.
Wow.
So I haven't seen my scalp in such a long time, so now it's just.
We're very light. You probably notice it, but I wouldn't go that harsh anyway. To be fair, mate. I mean, if you're looking to kind of have a different shape, you're looking to keep the length on the top to basically have a different haircut, like have it as though this haircut is meant to be here on the top and the back and sides is cut in. I wouldn't generally go down to scalp exposure anyway. I'd just do it as short as I can go with the scissors. Probably it goes down to like a number 2 or something like that, I would say. But everything else will be tapered a bit tighter in on the sideburns, the neck, especially around the neckline as well. You can go a bit tighter through here. I think that'd be better. You've got a lot of curls down the bottom there. So the shorter on that, the better. And we'll just taper that in nice and tight for you as well. It'll be a nice little transformation, this one, because it'll look very different as well, which is quite nice. It'll look as though it's meant to be. Like I think if we were just to show the people the top, or any of your friends or anyone outside would just see the top of your hair and the back and sides cut after today, they wouldn't have known you've grown it out from a skinhead.
Yeah, so I wanted to look a bit more purposeful with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. All right, man. Well, let's get you gowned up and let's get you started, all right? Right guys, so I'm going to start off with the horseshoe section on TK's hair, because the reason I want to do this section, especially for this type of haircut, is that we want to leave the length on top. So there's no point in me kind of trying to cut it without a section in there or anything like that, because another thing we notice as well is that he's got a double crown, as you can see here. And that is already, if you just have a little look against my t-shirt, Liam, that is already sticking up there, okay? So that's growing. You normally either, there's no in between with a double crown. It's a bit like a cow's lick. There's no in between. It's either long or short. It's very hard to have that kind of in between length because it just doesn't know where it wants to live. They kind of combine like a wave. So with this, it's already sticking up. So again, horseshoe section's perfect for this type of haircut. Not only because we're trying to grow the top out, but also he's got a double crown, so we can leave the crown to the very end or leave it completely. So I'm going to start off just by sectioning this off now. I'm going to start at the crown because the hair is quite short. I want this crown to come into play, okay? So I want to use this with my scissor over comb. I want to not touch this crown at all, okay? So I'm just going to separate it where it wants to naturally separate, which is like kind of like a little line there. Okay, I'm going to separate that out. And I'm going to work it from the first crown into the session point, okay? Now the hair isn't totally wet, okay? I've dried the hair off quite a bit, because I don't want this totally wet. I'm using scissors, I want to see where I'm going. I just want it to be wet enough that I can see the teeth of the comb through the hair when it's a bit wet. I'm going to use this bit here as my guide. So I'm going to sort of miss a bit and then sort of start the section from here. So I'm using the crown as my sort of point of reference to section from. Give TK today is a haircut that looks as though he hasn't shaved his head 4 months ago. So I want to change this around for him again by leaving the top length, add a little tiny bit of texture in there, but focusing on these back and sides, creating that squarer shape, which is what you requested, which is I always do anyway. Now I'm going to start from about here, because I don't want to lose any length up here. There's not enough length. But as you can see, if you look at the shape of the head, we need to start creating that kind of shape, okay? So comb in, section up, slight elevation, a very, very, very short sections now. We want this to be seamless. If we do 2 wide sections, you'll see what we call steps, and you'll see the long, cut short, long, cut short. We want this to be completely seamless. As I get past the occipital bone, I'm going to start going a bit closer now. The spine of the comb is going to start getting pushed a little bit more into the head. And I'm going to cross check this now. I'm going to go back up and over. Again, working the scissors like 2 to 3 times the speed I'm moving the comb up, okay? If I was just to do this, it wouldn't work. You've got to be really, really quick with your scissors and slow with your comb. Scissors are in. Again, using this crown, not going anywhere near the crown. The crown's going to stay the same length, so no, as it was when you came in, it's going to be exactly the same, okay? You're not going to accidentally sort of go in there and go and cut it, okay? So following the guide, there's my guide there. Elevation, and cut. Drop it down right below. I've still got a guide coming through there as well. That's my guide there, along the scissor, and my guide from there as well. Getting closer and closer now. Just working back up over the previous section as well to really make that seamless. By going shorter on TK's neckline, that's going to strengthen it up a lot more because it is quite sparse with curls. So I think that's going to strengthen it a lot more, especially when we put the trimmer to it. Following the guide. Just doing exactly the same thing, getting closer and closer as we get lower down. This is what will create that square shape. There we go. Now let's see. When we talk about tapering, when we talk about removing length to see necklines, that's exactly what a taper does. It allows me to see his natural neckline. So all I know now, that's my exact line I need to follow. Really, really small sections, really close together. Here down, slide the comb under. I'll go over that bit. I'll sit the mask down in a minute. Is that shape? You see the way that's sitting in?
Yeah, it's a lot more
square.
Yeah.
And we haven't even tapered in the bottom bit yet. All right. Lift it up, guide, down, up. Very, very, very small sections. It does take a lot of practice, this one, but it's such a great technique to have. You can use this technique all over the world. You could just take a comb and a scissor, and you could work all over the world when you learn this technique. As you see, I'm just changing directions. I'm just going against the growth pattern. I'm going to detail the temples now, but I'm not going to cut in too much, okay? Now, I'm not a huge fan of something being really heavily detailed. Now, it doesn't look what I can see that the beard is detailed, so there's no point in having a very sharp edge without a detailed beard. It just doesn't really work. So I just want to strengthen it, okay? It grows out sort of longer as well, you know, it doesn't give it 2 days in the stubble, you know, that's what I like about these kind of detailing. If I was to cut into that, you'd have to take quite a bit of the hair out. And longevity is always key to a good haircut too. I always like that. Not knocking the detailed sides or anything, because I do use them myself in certain haircuts, but I think it depends on what you're going for, what the type of clients is you're looking at as well, whether they want that really sharp finish. Taping the edges in a bit tighter now. A bit. Just try to strengthen this up a little bit. Not cutting into the hairline too much. A little bit of strength. Size 5 comb just to add a bit more of a taper in there as well. And just follow that nice natural line to strengthen up hairline at the back. Bit of freehand tapering, just to really clean up the neckline. I'm working over the comb to get the hairs start growing up. I'm not looking to do anything that's going to take the shine off the overall haircut. I don't want this to be like a sort of a faded neckline in terms of like a skin faded neckline like that at all. Again, something that we don't really want to go towards. Not really looking to do a skin fade of any sort. Just doing a nice natural graduation, as I call it. There isn't much you need to do because we haven't took any length off this bit here, so it's all blended in. All we want to do is just break it up a little bit, add a bit of texture to it. But if you see, because we took the transition from so much lower down, that hair hasn't been touched, so that hair originally blends in. But can you see the shape we've created so far? We've changed the whole shape by just taking it at that point and blending it down. But what I'm going to do to the top, I'm just going to make sure it's even. I know it's going to be very blunt, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to break up the very ends, like so. Just close your eyes for me, buddy, so it doesn't go in your eyes. I'm just going to go straight in. I'm not going on an angle, because that'll remove length. I'm going straight in, okay? What that'll do, we'll just break up the ends of the hair. Don't want to cut into that too much. I just want this to grow out a bit more. Again, sometimes less is more. You know, if you start overdoing it, you take them back a few weeks or whatever. So I don't want to do that. Really, I just want to cut into this to help them grow it a bit more. Because there is still a bit of growing to do if you want to have a couple of styles or whatever. But I think for the time being, this is going to work really well for them. It's like we said, but it's taking off that sort of clipper cut, grown out look, where it's now becoming more of an actual hairstyle. Through these corners here, just cut into these a little bit as well, just like this, just to break them up a little bit. And we need to keep that corner in there because we're looking to create the squareness. Straight into my fingers. There we go. Now that is all we want to do, buddy. Not much else that needs doing. Let me just dry it through a little bit for you. So again, might not have been an awful lot, but it's done exactly what we needed to do. It's changed that shape around completely. So when you first came in, you've now actually got a hairstyle that looks as though it's been cut like this, more than just growing out into that effect.
Yeah, no, it's exactly what I was looking for. It's like,
yeah?
It doesn't look super sharp, but it's...
That's it, yeah.
It's messy and like...
Exactly. But again, we haven't done an awful lot to create this look, you know, and sometimes you can go overboard and do too much, whereas we don't need to. We can just keep growing this top out for another month or so, and then you'll be at a perfect length. You can probably play around with it a bit more. But let me put a little bit of clay in there for you, just so you can see. So this is the Hans de Foucault Claymation. I've used this for a few years, actually. This is it's a nice one, this. Now, I'm not going to use an awful lot, okay, because it is quite a thick clay. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to use maybe like, I don't know, just the tip of my finger, like that. Work it in first with my fingers, and then all the way through, okay? So it does go clear on the hands. Look, you've got nothing in your hands, but it's quite, you can feel it, it's quite thick, okay? Because your hair's so short, Don't be putting loads on when you're putting your helmet on as well, because it can get on the inside of the helmet. Just a tiny, tiny bit. All this will do is just help break it up and define what we've just done there. Okay, just very, very minimal. But just a little bit of thickness in there and just show that little bit of definition, especially in natural light. You see clay working really well in natural light. Just keep your fringe going. Your fringe wants to go up automatically, so I'd go with that. Don't fight against it, go with it. And that's it, mate. Nice, isn't it?
Yeah, that's perfect, man.
Thanks, man. See the back and sides?
Yeah, that's nice.
Taper's nice and tight. As you can see, the whole style has changed now.
Yeah. It's a lot more shape to it.
It is, yeah, exactly that, mate. Brilliant, man. You happy, yeah?
Yeah, that's perfect, man.
Thanks, bud. Thank you very much.